time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Ursama.
Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of the Get Home Safe podcast. Wednesday morning, just saying hello to everybody out there. Middle of the week, just stopping by for a few random topics, just venting away my frustrations on certain things and just kind of sharing some laughs, hopefully, with you guys. Total randomness on Wednesdays here, as it has come to be the past few months. Just talking about sports, talking about things that are on my mind, on my heart, and such. I'm still kind of coming down emotionally from the Rio Hondo Prep victory on Friday, the first round defeat of Charter Oak High School in the Division 7 playoffs. Could not be more proud of my alma mater and the performance they put out on Friday night. The effort, the execution, just all around awesome stuff from Rio Hondo Prep. Coaching staff was phenomenal. The players executed, played their hearts out. Everyone who's seen that game on video, or if they were there in person, definitely knows what I'm talking about. The parents, everyone was very, very proud of them. So we're going to continue to put out content, Rio Hondo Prep football, during this playoff run here. And in moving forward, you do a lot of thinking. You think about, okay, what's the best way to do something, right? You make adjustments. When I started this podcast back in, I don't know, January of 2020, or February, whatever it was, I wasn't sure the direction I was gonna go with it. And I've gone many different directions. I've had some hits, I've had some misses. Last year at some point, after talking to Mark a few times on the podcast, I said, you know what? I want to do like a Rio Hondo Prep football special show. And that's kind of what we've been doing on Mondays this year. And so it got me thinking, I like my podcast a lot, Get Home Safe. It's developed. It's been an opportunity on Fridays, which has been awesome, to talk to many different people, just a conversation with guests, whether it's be talking about current events or talking about their journey throughout life. That has been really fun for me. And for those of you that don't know about the whole Get Home Safe, where does that come from? I know we have a lot of new listeners out there from the RHP football family. Get Home Safe. I was umpiring a long time, umpired college baseball, umpired the minor leagues. And so kind of had that. I wanted to have something baseball related. So Get Home Safe, obviously. Right. And then I still am a rideshare driver. And one thing you always hear people say is get home safe. And it's also something that I haven't really mentioned before, but I talk a lot about the military and, police and everything. And it's kind of a tribute to them as well. Get home safe from overseas, get home safe from your your shift. I mean, I have nothing but respect for law enforcement and military. And so it's a little tribute there. So that's kind of where the name came from. But in doing Rio Hondo Prep football this season, every Monday, basically having a full-on football show, I've been thinking the past few weeks, and I think I do want to make some changes in the future. Not anything, I'm not going to change anything. I just got a bunch of listeners and followers, right, for the Rio Hondo Prep stuff. And people probably don't tune in even for these Wednesday shows of me just talking a few minutes. And then Friday shows, I think people are tuning in because they like some of the guests. Again, if they're related to Rio Hondo Prep football or something, then people seem to be intrigued. So my plan, I think, for next year, I'm always thinking ahead. And I think next year, what I want to do is have two separate podcasts, meaning the Get Home Safe podcast, which will just be probably 2 episodes a week, which is, I think, what we're going to go to here when the football season ends. Just 2 days a week. Once probably on like a Tuesday, where I will just recap sports from the weekend, give you my opinions of kind of how things are going in life, maybe some rideshare stories, just kind of like today's episode is. And then Fridays, hopefully a guest where I can talk to somebody about their journey, inspirational stuff that, like we've been doing here the past few years, almost 2 years where this podcast has been going. But I want Rio Hondo Prep football to have its own thing, its own identity, not be part of just the Get Home Safe podcast. I'm going to have a new title. I'm going to have new platforms. I was thinking, man, if I would have to restart everything, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult. Maybe a little extra work, but I think Rio Hondo Prep Football deserves its own platform, and it's going to be nothing much is going to change about it. It's going to be exactly what I've been doing on the Monday shows. So the content will probably only be during the football season, maybe a month or two leading up to it. We'll bring on maybe some guests every now and then to talk about specifically Rio Hondo Prep Football. And so that's kind of what I want to do next year with the podcast. I've really got the juices flowing. I'm working on a few different titles. I have a few in mind for the official podcast of Rio Hondo Prep Football. That way, I wanted to draw people in. I want people to be intrigued by the content. And for those that are followers of Rio Hondo Pro Football that really don't even care about the other stuff I'm doing, that's totally fair. I totally get it. I want them to have a place to only get information from Rio Hondo Pro Football stuff, not care. What is Matt talking about today on a Wednesday? Or, hey, who's this guy I've never heard of on a Friday? I totally respect that. I'm not trying to, turn anyone away, or I'm always competent. I'm always adjusting. And I've made a lot of adjustments the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. And I think that will be for the best next year. So I'm working on a few titles of my podcast of what I want it to be. So if you have any, definitely throw them my way. I'm open to suggestions. I've talked to a few people already of a few ideas I have regarding the Rio Hondo Prep Football podcast next year. And I've gotten some good feedback. So it's a long way away. We got hopefully a few more games here for this year's team. And then probably starting next August, I will, in fact, put together a Rio Hondo football podcast that will be all Rio Hondo Prep Football. There'll be nothing else, just Rio Hondo Prep Football. And I will say, I'll make an addendum to it. If there happens to be maybe a decent basketball run, or the girls softball team is doing well, it will be a place for all Rio Hondo Prep athletic talk. But my effort, my heart, everything is, RHP football driven. But I think RHP football fans, if there is a team at RHP that is making a playoff run or something, then they would be intrigued. So that's where all that content will probably fall into. And it's for a few different reasons. Adam Carolla, whether you like him or don't, he has his podcast system where he has his show he has. And then he also has these other podcasts that are totally separate from his other one. Like he has one about cars. He has one about home improvement and building things. I have no interest in those things at all. But so that's kind of why I want to just tweak everything a bit. I want the Rio Hondo football podcast to be something that people know what they're going to when they tune in. And it's not to say you can't follow this podcast either. I think for those of you who have seen some other Get Home Safe podcast episodes, maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe it's not for you. I totally understand, but you can still follow both. You can still, tune in. And again, most of the guests I will have will probably be Care Youth League, Rio Hondo Prep topics on Fridays, and just kind of talking about their life and such. So this is just my idea. I'm brainstorming, but I think I want to do it just so that Rio Hondo Prep Football has its own page, its own identity. You know what I mean? So I got so fired up this season in covering the team, talking to players and parents and coaches. I mean, it really has been a big hit, been everything I wanted it to be. Not every idea I've had on the podcast has been solid, but it's just kind of, I was thinking about it. It's kind of weird. You have all this Rio Hondo Prep talk, Rio, and then it's like, oh, random Halloween episode with me and my girlfriend. It's like, it doesn't quite fit. And I look at the views, the YouTube, the total plays on audio. I mean, Rio Hondo Prep Football is the draw. It is what people want to hear, what people want to talk about. So this season, everything will be on the Get Home Safe podcast still. But in moving forward, next year and beyond, I want to just do a Rio Hondo specific show. Again, it'll take a little extra work. I'll have to create some new content, new YouTube channels, new distribution from the audio side of things, a new Facebook page, and new all of that. But you know what? It's worth it. All the feedback I've seen, the love and support from Rio Hondo fans, past and present, it has been truly remarkable. and I want to give it its own spotlight, if that makes any sense. And it'll probably show how little people listen to my other shows. But no, all kidding aside, on Fridays, still getting a lot of hits. Valerie Johnson, RHP mom, she was a big hit last week. She's had a ton of plays. I think parents and alumni enjoy hearing not just what parents are thinking and going through, but just former members of RHP and care love tuning in as well. So I'm going to keep that going on the Get Home Safe podcast. Keep my sports opinions and predictions and reactions and this and that on the Get Home Safe podcast. But next year, RHP specific, I think it will be a better fit for everybody. And I hope everyone who's liked and subscribed to this will do the same next year. So stay tuned for that next season. Cannot wait. And just another big step here for the RHP football coverage that we're going to be doing. But until then, this is still your official site of where to follow RHP football here in the next couple of weeks with big playoff games. Another huge one this week against St. Pius x St. Matthias, kind of a lengthy name there. Down in the Downey area. They're 9-2. Seen some film on them. Guys, very, very big, very athletic. Rio Hondo is in for a very, very tough game. They're going to have to control the clock, slow down St. Matthias any way they can, and they're going to have to tackle. They're going to have to tackle. They have to block. They have to execute, check every box. They cannot make mistakes because St. Pius can score points in a hurry, and they look like they probably don't give up too many either. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a fast game. I hope you guys can get out on Friday night to Care Park, that is, in Irwindale for the matchup. It is an official blackout. That's why I'm wearing black today. It's official blackout, much like last week on the road was a whiteout. So blackout's a little easier to do in the cold because, people have like black jackets and sweatshirts. Not too many people have white sweatshirts and such. So whiteouts are good for when it's hot, I would say, in the September, October time. But when we get into November here, blackouts are probably the way to go, just because you can bundle up. But anyway, what was I going to go from there? So blackout on Friday, get out to the game, wear black, get loud. Every snap's going to matter here, and, support the boys like the fans have been doing. Again, a tough game on Friday night. I can't wait for it. I'm going to do everything in my power to get there and do more Facebook Live videos and interviews and such like I did last week at Charter Oak. So that is the plan there. I talked about the upcoming, well in the future, RHP only podcast that we'll be doing. And I want to bring this up. If you guys had this before, I had almost a perfect weekend. Perfect. I mean that. I mean, everything was perfect. It kicked off Friday night with the big Rio win. I mean, I could have just stopped right there. It was cloud nine. It was just like, this is incredible. Get home Saturday night, have some good food, good home cooked food, and kind of a chilly night. Not one, but two amazing fights in Canelo Alvarez and then Caleb Plant. And then in boxing and UFC, it was Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Two amazing fights. Had them both on. That was incredible. What do you watch, a movie or something Saturday night late, or a television show or something? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Sunday, football all day. Great cooked food. Did the RHP football podcast in the morning. That was a big hit. Everyone loved it. Everything was wonderful. Just an amazing 72 hours, or maybe I should say 68 hours, 69 hours, because my beloved LA Rams let me down on Sunday night. Have you ever had that where things are going so great, couldn't go better? And I'm always so skeptical of this. Anytime things in my life start going really well, I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't ever happen. Things are not always this smooth. Something's going to go wrong. Where is it? Where's it going to come from? I start getting paranoid. And sure enough, it was the Rams laying an egg on Sunday night to the Tennessee Titans. Congrats to the Titans for a great game plan, spectacular defense. But I was so close, guys, to the perfect weekend. Oh, well, I said this last week, I'll take Rio Hondo wins over Rams wins any day, any weekend. And as much as I love the Rams, I love my Rio Hondo Prep football team, the past, the present, and the future. That's where my heart is at, where my passion is at. And people don't like me sitting here talking about the Rams, but they love hearing me talk about Rio Hondo Prep football. So it's a moment of clarity sometimes that we go through. But man, I tell you, I don't know about you guys, but when things start going well for me, I'm a realist, and I'm always the pessimist also. Like, wait a minute, what can go wrong will go wrong. When things go smoothly, I like to be pleasantly surprised. I've talked about expectations before, right? And that's why I was so worked up last week about the Rio game. It's just counting down the hours. Like, can they do this? Can they do this? And then they finally did it. So, oh, it was so close, guys, to a perfect weekend. But I'll take it. I'll take it. Again, I would take another Rams loss this week, even though it would be to the dreaded 49ers, as long as Rio Hondo Prep wins. Rio Hondo Prep wins on Friday night in the second round of the Division 7 playoffs. I will be more than happy. I don't know if it's the sacrifice or the good Lord telling me, Matt, you can only have one or the other. I don't know, but I will take the Rio wins over the Rams wins any day, any week. And it was so close to the perfect weekend. It really makes you analyze, what is perfect, what is not. Too many. There's a reason there's only been a few perfect games in baseball, right? To be perfect is so many. There's so many elements, things that could go wrong. A bad hop, a bad call by an umpire. There's just lots of things that can ruin perfect. And what ruined perfect on Sunday night with the Tennessee Titans. So anyway, I just had to say that, get that off my chest. I did want to tell you guys about the two upcoming guests on Fridays. Two amazing guests that you guys definitely want to tune into. My little reward for people who tune in on Wednesdays here. We are going to be joined this Friday. I think this is super fitting for the RHP second round playoff game. I've recorded these already, so I'm excited for you guys to hear them. I'm going to be joined by Arman Abukaraf. I hope I said his name right. I probably messed it up again. He was a coach at Rio for the past few months, an intern, really interning, learning about football, learning about the coaching process. And he also does great ministry work in his home country of Kazakhstan. He talked to me about football being played in Kazakhstan, how he started playing there, him converting from Islam to Christianity. He's just passionate about spreading the gospel. And he's going to talk to you guys, to us, about his experiences that he had being a part of the Rio Hondo Prep football program the past few months. Coach Carson was, very gracious in allowing Arman to be a part of it all. And I think Arman is definitely going to take a lot of the things he learned, not just between the hash marks, but just the overall concept of loving each other in the program. The kids, I think, are really going to enjoy listening to this or watching it on YouTube, because Arman is one of the most just humble, gracious guys I've ever met and talked to. So you do not want to miss this Friday's podcast with Coach Arman, who is now back in Kazakhstan, or was on the East Coast for a short while, but I think he's back in Kazakhstan. And he has some great stories. You guys are going to be blown away by how he came to be a football guy in Kazakhstan, and to be a part of the Rio staff. He'll talk about what it was like behind the scenes, and maybe some of the players, some weightlifting challenges, whatever. And then, we'll talk about his other work, his passion for bringing others to Christ and spreading the gospel. So just an incredible person that you guys don't want to miss on Friday. If you guys, parents of the program, I'm sure you know about Arman from your kids telling you, but this is a chance to hear him speak and talk about his passion and his experiences with the Rio Hondo Prep football program. The following Friday, I've already recorded this as well, man. It was like a month and a half ago now, but we've been so Rio Hondo Prep football heavy that haven't had a chance to get this one out. But I think even though it's not affiliated with Rio Hondo Prep, you guys will love this interview. My good friend Todd Carson connected me to this person, Robbie Burns, who is a professional snowboarder. And if you're not into winter sports or whatever, you're still going to get something from this, I promise you. Robbie Burns finished third in the U.S. a couple of years ago as far as the Olympic trials, and the Olympic team for the United States, they only took 2 though. So he got so close to accomplishing his goal and didn't quite get there. He is expected to make the Olympic team upcoming here in China here. I think it's whatever year it's going to be. There's more details on the podcast with that, but he talks about what it's like to be so close to your goal and kind of coming up short. What inspires you, what motivates you. Outside of being a snowboarder, he's also like a fireman in the off season, if you will. So kind of a fire and ice kind of guy. You don't want to miss that podcast. That's the following week of Friday's show. So those are the next two that I wanted to tell you guys about. Get the blood going and get the juices flowing. Get ready for that. Those fun interviews on Friday upcoming. But Coach Armand this Friday and Robbie Burns the following Friday. Going to be a great couple of Fridays of shows. Let's see, what else do I have for you guys today? Okay, so I talked about change. I talked about the fights. I'll get to that in a second, but I want to say something about changing opinions of people. The sports media, the media in general, they sometimes what they put out on someone, I think things are kind of manipulated at times, and they kind of try to form our opinions. I know I've been caught in this where I've been like, I don't like that guy at all, blah, blah, blah. And then I find out something later about him. I'm like, you know what? I have been misinformed. I have formed a wrong opinion about this person. Maybe I don't agree with them and everything they say, but I understand where they're coming from. I was a little harsh maybe. And it's been the other way. I've loved someone to death. I love listening to this broadcaster. And then he starts talking about stuff. I'm just like, okay, we get it. Like, can you move on? Can you stop preaching? And they keep going. And it's like, you change your opinion on them there. So a couple instances this past week where that has happened. And I think the lesson that I have learned is, I'm not saying like judge people, right? Judge a book by its cover or anything. But I'm saying that as I've grown older, there's a lot of lessons I learn, and that you can change your opinions of people. It happens more and more often than you would think if you're honest with yourself. I never would have thought that guy would have been someone I listened to and agreed with, or man, that's someone I never would have thought I would have disagreed with and needed to just turn off. And I think that if we're honest with ourselves, that's why I don't think you can get so finalized in your opinions of people. Sometimes they hear someone talk or whatever, and they're just like, they just shut off. Nope, never. We used to have a saying in officiating. It was like, never, what was it? Never and always. Never say never and always, because it's always not the answer, or something. It was something like that. Anyway, basically, anytime you say never, anytime you say always, be careful, because chances are, those are very final statements, but chances are things change. People change for the good, for the better, and sometimes for the worse. So I think sometimes we get so bottled up into our opinions of people or topics that we aren't open to seeing when they change or when more information becomes available to us. I think there's a stubbornness inside all of us. I think it's like, I hate that guy. And then he does something good or steps, and you're like, okay, maybe I don't hate him. Why do you have to do that cool thing? Or bad guys. So I guess that was my point right now, is that it's okay to change your opinions on people. I think some of us are too stubborn to, but if we look at ourselves and be like, man, I would hope that people would change their opinions of me if they thought ill of me, and then maybe started to come around, or vice versa. Hopefully, if I wasn't a good guy in someone's eyes and then totally let them down, I don't want that either. I want that to happen. But, I think you got to be open-minded in this life. Have your values, have your concerns, right? Whatever's close to you, whatever's important to you, but also keep in mind that people can change, and you can change your opinions of people. You don't have to. It was just a thought I had here in the recent weeks, from just the way this last year and a half has gone. I've had so many ups and downs, roller coasters of emotions with many different people, many different topics, and it's all love, I got to tell you. And I know my opinions aren't for everybody. That's totally fine. They're just opinions. I could be wrong. I could be right. It doesn't matter, really. No one really cares. I don't get a say in how things are run around the world, around the country. That's why I again, just want to I want this pod to be for everybody, but I also want to be myself as well, and just kind of say, hey, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. But anyway, that's enough preaching. On to some other topics here. Outside of sports, a lot of content out there. Some great football, of course. The Braves won the World Series last week. Hockey's in full swing. One sport, I think it's called the NBA, something of that nature. I don't know, but that's going. If that's interesting you, college football's rocking and rolling here. We're getting down to the wire, right, as we approach Thanksgiving. We'll have the conference championship games, the Final Four, I guess you'd call it, a football. And man, college football, get your act together. Let's get a 12-team playoff going, will you? And I know everyone's like, well, if you expand, it's then the 13th team will cry and whine. But it's like, no, it's like the NCAA tournament when the basketball tournament went to 68, and now the 69th team is like, well, we should get in. No, I'm not. That's 68 teams. That's not 10 or 12 or 8. So football is very different. And sorry, if you're griping that you didn't get in at 69 or the 13th team in a football playoff, sorry. Sorry, you missed the boat. Anyway, there are some really good shows and movies on that I like anyway. They're not, again, my opinions, they're not for everybody. But again, back to the weekend being so awesome. There was a few things that we've been watching, and they opened up this weekend. Sorry, more coffee needed for sure. But we've been watching, FX has a great show on, it's called American Crime Story. And the first 2 seasons, one was on the O.J. Simpson murders. Second one was on Versace, his murders. Anyway, they kind of reenact things that actually happened, 10-part series. The OJ one was awesome. I didn't see the Versace one, but the recent one is called Impeachment, and it's about the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky thing going on in the 90s. Pretty well done. A lot of it's all reenactment, right? The people that play the characters, it's like, man, they look just like the real life versions of them. So that's been really cool watching that. One episode to go. I know that's not for everybody, but I really enjoyed that. I was sitting there watching with Valerie, and there was a scene where, I'm not getting political here, it's just kind of a funny moment. I was sitting there with Val watching this, and there was a tense moment where it was like Bill and Hillary there at the table, and she's clearly not happy. And I think I said something like to Val, I said, man, Bill Clinton's the only president to need Secret Service at the dinner table. And I just blurted that out, not thinking much of it. She thought that was really funny. So again, it may be corny joke, but I threw it out there, and the girl in my life laughed. So that's got to mean something, right? But anyway, Impeachment's pretty good. The other 2 shows that started this weekend, again, that are not for everybody, but they're for me. One was Dexter New Blood, the continuation of a show that ended years ago, Dexter, where he's a forensics expert who also happens to have a thirst for killing and killing bad guys, killing other killing people who do evil and maybe get off through the system or whatever. But so that show continued. We're kind of left off where the previous series left off. I won't ruin it for you in case you want to go back and watch, but so that was cool. That season, the new season, episode 1 started on this weekend. And Yellowstone, which I haven't got to yet, apparently it was a 2-hour premiere on Sunday night, and it was Rams football, Dexter, and then we ran out of time. So Yellowstone, the series premiere, a 2-hour special event, was apparently really, really good. Just explosive, and I can't wait to watch that. So juggling shows here while working a ton, doing the podcast, trying to get to Rio games, tuning into fights and football. I mean, it's a busy time of year, but it's a wonderful time of year. So I wish they put some of these shows out in non-football season times when we're kind of desperate for other things. But hey, we'll get through it, guys. We'll get through it. So I got some catching up to do on those shows, but they're really, really good. And of course, when you throw fighting in the mix, I'm a big fan of that, boxing and UFC. And I won't bore you guys with too much of my analysis, but a really good fights on Saturday night. Canelo Alvarez, every time he steps in the ring, worth the price of admission. He had an 11th round KO of Caleb Plant, who was formerly undefeated. And Canelo Alvarez goes to He becomes the super middleweight undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. Not many guys have done that. We saw, who was it recently from Scotland? I should have known this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's only been a handful of guys who have been undisputed in their weight class. And now that Canelo has unified that division and taken every belt, does he go up again in weight class to maybe take some of those belts? He is so skilled, so much fun to watch. He kind of just calculates and watches your every move and then just turns it on in later rounds. And a significant height disadvantage to Canelo. He's punching up at this guy Plant, but a really good fight on Saturday night that absolutely delivered. Big time event. And the other, I hate UFC and boxing for doing this. Not only was it another big event, it was another pay-per-view event. So it was UFC 269, I believe. And it was Kamaru Usman against Colby Covington, a rematch from their fight a few years ago where Usman knocked out Covington, broke his jaw, and two guys that do not like each other by any means. And Usman, I thought, clearly won the first 2 rounds. Covington came back strong, won the next 2 rounds. And then in round 5, Usman just was too much for Covington. Covington didn't do enough to win. So unanimous decision there. And Usman, I root against him almost every time I see him. Probably need to stop that because he wins every single time. He's just too skilled, too talented. Man, you got to respect his game. He's just an incredible fighter. Covington, I think if Jorge Masvidal wins his fight in the future, I think those two guys will go up head to head. That'll be another war because not too many people like this Covington guy. I like all these fighters really, but I like Covington a little bit, a little cocky, but hey, all fighters are cocky, right? You got to back it up. So those were 2 amazing events over the weekend. Gets me so excited when, big fights actually deliver. And I thought about the whole Rio Hondo game Friday night being kind of like a boxing match, kind of a fight, just they punch, we punch. And the beauty of fighting is that there's no special tricks or trick plays or, anything of that nature. It's like, let's get in the ring. All right. It's man to man, punch for punch. And I think Rio Hondo is going to have more of that this weekend with their game on Friday night. They got to punch back no matter how big, how fast St. Pius is. Rio Hondo is going to have to punch back and punch back fiercely. You can't hit somebody. There's no punching soft, right? Anytime you hit someone, you're trying to deliver a blow. And again, that's another big reason why I just love, I love fighting. It's year round. It's probably something I could never do or would do, but still it's fun to watch other people kind of beat on each other and the science of it, right? The sweet science of boxing. And then the technical side of UFC. It's not just getting it there and they're going crazy. There's definitely an art to it, and it's so much fun to watch. But I'll move on from that. Okay, I am losing my mind over dogs and animals, and you know what? Val wants me to get a dog, us to get a dog so bad, but I just every day I am getting more and more turned off by it. The animals, they're cool, they're great. I think the owners are the problem. Let's see. What's the saying here should be? Dogs don't annoy people. Owners of dogs annoy people. You can play with that. What is it? Like guns kill people. Anyway, I'll politics. I'll avoid it. It's the man behind the trigger that it does the damage. And I think people are not controlling their animals, which drives me crazy. I think for some reason, and dogs make people insane. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about owners. Dogs make people like oblivious to the rest of the world. There's like a barking contest going on here in our complex. And what happens is owners, they'll leave the dog outside and then the dog will just lose its mind. So they never hear it. Then they get home and the dog's all cool and happy. And it's like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, for the rest of us, and again, I'm not here that often, but when I am here, it's loud and clear. And then this was my favorite. This wasn't here at the complex, but was it the complex? Oh, that was my favorite. Someone was like, oh, it's a service dog. I was like, a service? Why would you leave a service dog at home? Isn't a service dog supposed to provide a service to you? Like be your guide dog or whatever? Again, I don't know all the details or I'm probably misspeaking. I'm not saying hate animals. I'm not. I actually like dogs. They're pretty cool. And anytime they're around you, make you pretty happy. But my goodness, people, control your animals. Like there's no discipline at all. None. Dog starts. I mean, I've been around some great owners who a dog starts barking or lose. It's like, boom, hey, total control. Stop it. Snap, blah, whatever. Not violence. They're not violent with their animals. They're in control. They know how to discipline. They know how to control them. Give them treats, prizes, whatever. Train them. I've never trained an animal. I don't want to be the guy that like criticizes parents on how to raise kids when I've never raised kids, but this is a dog. This is an animal. People walk around and it's just like they're oblivious that their animal is barking, like bothering other people. Dogs make people crazy in the sense that they make people just oblivious. Oh yeah, my dog is so cute. That's wonderful. Yeah, it's barking like crazy. Or my favorite is the depend. Okay, I don't want to knock anybody that is like a veteran who, the service animal concept, but there are people who are, I'm sorry, you're milking it. You're milking the whole, I have to have my dog around me at all times. I was around that at one time I think it was a guy we were umpiring with, said that. I miss my dog. Like, dude, you gotta suck it up. We're not on deployment here. Settle down. We're umpiring baseball. You'll be back with your dog in a few weeks. But I'm not trying to knock the animal friend. Again, this is why I need separate podcasts. So people would be like, Matt, you're such a jerk, bashing dogs and human interaction. I'm like, I'm not. Dogs are cool. You throw a ball, they go get it. They come back. They love on you. They're awesome. But owners, can we get some control, please? Let's get some control. And let's stop lying about the whole, I need, service animal. Well, if it's a service animal, let it be a service animal. It should be with you then. And on the flip side, for people that need to like take their dogs to like grocery stores, I'm like, really? Was a dog helping you pick out what to order? I'm like, it's not just animals. It's kind of this ego that is in our society of me, not we. The Rams have that saying, we, not me, which is cool, but it's like people only care about themselves. It's hilarious. And so this is a separate subject. I know that's an argument for a lot of other things going on right now. Oh, you don't care about other people. So, well, yeah, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. I just wish, I'm telling you, dogs make people crazy. They're making me crazy. And I just look at owners and I'm like, you don't see or hear what your animal is doing right now? It's turning me off from ever being a dog owner. It is. It's hardening my heart, guys. Help me out here. Anybody have any ideas? Any tips? We kindly talk to people. Hey, do me a favor. Your job, control your animal. I shouldn't be this negative on a Wednesday. I just, I've been so happy. Rio Hondo has won. I'm just saying, if it is a service dog and you never take it anywhere, that's maybe not true. I've picked up some guys driving for Uber and such that have service animals, and most of them are veterans. And they're like, hey, is the dog okay in the car? I'm saying, yeah, absolutely, man, jump in. Because some drivers, don't like animals in their car or whatever. And every time I've had a dog in they're always well behaved, and the owner again has control, and you can see there's a need there for the animal to help them out. I think some people just, can't for sure know this, but I think some people abuse that. Just, I want to take my dog with me. So yeah, this is a service animal. It's like, that's unacceptable to me, because that you're taking something that is a serious issue, like we do with a lot of things in the country. You're taking something that is a serious issue for people that truly do need service animals, and you're kind of lumping yourself into that just because you want your dog around you. So my 2 cents, someone will be mad, but that's life. That's life in the Get Home Safe podcast. Let's see. Did I have any passenger? Let's see. Any ride share stories for you guys? Not really. Well, I guess I may have said this before, but somebody are you guys like, I feel so weird talking on the phone like even around people that I am around all the time, my friends and family and Val or whatever, like if I'm on the phone, I feel weird even just like talking around them. Some people get in my car all the time and I know it's their ride. They paid for it, but they jump on the phone and they'll talk the whole time. Again, I don't need conversation, but it's funny the things people will talk about on the phone in front of a stranger like me. I can't turn my ears off. I used to tell coaches that all the time. Actually, it wasn't me. It was a fellow umpire, Dale Gardner. When coaches would yell at us, hey, you shouldn't hear that. And he's like, I can't turn my ears off. I don't know how to do that. So if you're going to say something you didn't want heard, maybe you shouldn't say it. Just don't say it. You said it because you wanted it heard. Anyway, that's a separate issue. Back to umpiring and officiating. Let me see here. Mark Carson just tweeted. This looks like, this is just the get home safe, the blackout photo that I posted for you guys earlier. Rio Hondo. Looks like they're the St. Pius. They must be the Spartans or something because they got they have a Spartan logo there. So that's pretty cool. I get great messages from you guys reaching out through various issues here. Let's see. Oh, this is a question about taunting in the NFL. Let me see. Marsh's contact. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm just reading these in real time. So I'll have to look at this. I know taunting is a big issue for the NFL right now, and fans are kind of up in arms about the rule changes and such. And I've always said that I'm not for taking down excitement or anything. But I do think that, and I know they're grown men and they can control themselves or whatever, but it starts to get a little out of control. And I think that anything that is meant to like embarrass or demean an opponent should absolutely be flagged, because then the other guy does it, then another guy does it. And it's a snowball. Snowball turns into an avalanche. So maybe there's been some overreaction in the NFL with some of the comments, some of the officiating errors, we'll say, but they're trying to clean up the game. I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's tough. I know that when I was officiating, if there was anything that kind of raised our eyebrows, like, ooh, that's a little unsportsmanlike, a little taunting. I mean, it was best to kind of flag it and just put it to bed right there so that there wouldn't be any more of that stuff going forward. And there usually was the case. There was no issues after that. So I think some of the timing of the calls in these games, I don't think they don't want guys to celebrate or be enthusiastic. But again, when you're instructed to kind of enforce something and look for it, I think you're going to look for it a little more, and maybe your eyes will tell you something that isn't truly there. So I'll have more to say about it maybe next week on this Wednesday edition of the Get Home Safe podcast. I did want to tell you guys this because I'm a man of my word, I guess. I'm a man. I want to be totally upfront with you guys on things. We're about halfway through the NFL season. It's week 10. Some teams have played 9 games. Everyone's played at least 8 games. 17 weeks now for some, or 17 games now for some stupid reason that they have to play instead of playing 16, which just is a money grab, of course. Anyway, I wrote these down a few months ago, expecting this moment here. And I wanted to kind of look back at my preseason NFL predictions and see where we stand about halfway through the season. I think it'll come to show you that I don't know much about predicting, which is why I kind of just do more reactions now. I think it's a safer bet. Man, I look at the AFC here. I'm actually okay. Okay. All right. So my predictions at the beginning of the season for the AFC, I had in the division winners, the Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Titans, and then the wild card teams, Ravens, Chargers, Patriots. I'm actually looking okay there, although I think the Ravens are in first place over the Steelers. Steelers had a win on Monday night that got them kind of back in the mix there. The Bills are going to win the East. The Titans look to be winning the South. And I think we'll see if the Steelers can get in the wild card mix. The Chargers actually are winning the West. Is it currently, I think? And the Chiefs are out of the playoffs as of now. So I think they'll get in the wild card. And then the Patriots kind of quietly going about their business. They'll be in the mix too. So AFC isn't too far off. The NFC is a little rough for my predictions here. I had the 49ers winning the West. They are not going to do that. Had the Giants come a big step up here for them, winning the NFC East. That's not going to happen. I had the Vikings winning the NFC North and the Bucks winning the NFC South. Might be right there. My 3 wildcard teams were the Rams, Seahawks, and Cowboys. Seahawks are probably, well, they could get on a run here. It's still too early to tell, but they seem to be out of the playoffs right now. Rams sitting on a wild card, Cowboys sitting on the division lead in the East. So my big predictions were that the Giants would win the East and that the Green Bay Packers would miss the playoffs. That was my big, huge prediction. I was totally off, and nowhere on here did I have anything about the Arizona Cardinals being the best team in football, really. And so I missed on that. A lot of other people did, even though I thought, the Cardinals, it's going to be a step up year for them, but I thought the NFC West was too strong. Little did I know, as of now, they would be the strongest team in the NFC and probably the NFL. So, man of my word, looking back, saying, you know what? I missed out on some predictions there. And that's probably why I don't do many predictions anymore in going forward. What was I talking about? Oh, the whole on the phone thing. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of private with my conversations. I don't like people hearing what I'm talking about, even though it's not a big deal. It's just a courtesy thing too. Some people, they're free with it. They're just, I think social media has had such an impact on all of us. It's like, oh, hey, this guy, you got to hear my opinions on this, or I should feel comfortable talking about whatever I want. And we've kind of lost the whole concept of just like courtesy, I think, in some areas of our lives. Other than that, let me see. That's probably it for today, guys. Honestly, wrote down rivalry. It doesn't really matter. Again, a short show on Wednesdays here. Just stepping in, saying hello for a brief show. Rio Hondo Prep football topics. I also am not sure about this. Here's another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. With the Christmas season fast approaching, and a lot of craziness going on with my line of the work. I'm on 6 days a week now, so there's not a ton of time for the podcast, but we've been fitting it in as best we could. I am thinking, I'm not officially there yet, I am considering taking a breather in the month of December for just the Christmas season, as we kind of get going long days and everything. I don't want to put out just some content just to put it out. So I might take the month of December off. Haven't decided yet. And just come back strong for season 3 of the Get Home Safe podcast in January. I can't believe it'll be our 3rd season. We started it in 2020, 2021 is almost over, and 2022 will be the 3rd season of the Get Home Safe podcast. Started off as a 5 days a week show during the lockdown, where we were talking to a new guest every day. We ran that course. Then it went to 3 days a week. Sometime, I think maybe last fall, maybe. And then here we are again, still 3 days a week, but Rio Hondo Prep football is the main draw for everybody. So we make adjustments, man. We make adjustments. And I'm being honest, if December might be a rough month, craziness for all. So I might take a breather in the month of December and then come back strong starting January for new editions of the Get Home Safe podcast. And we're probably going to go after the football season for Rio Hondo. We're probably going to go to a Tuesday, Friday format. Tuesdays being a very simple hello, 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour to recap and break down football games and stuff, but probably just me usually talking football and breaking down sports. And of course, random rideshare topics. If a crazy story pops up, I'll tell you guys for sure. And so that's kind of the plan for that. And then Friday, still, I'd like to have a long form conversation with somebody. It could be a lot of repeat guests, and that's fine. Just catching up with friends. It's an opportunity to kind of bring it all home, no pun intended, home safe, if you will. And so that's what I think is the future of the Get Home Safe podcast. The near future, though, is still going to be Rio Hondo Prep football coverage until this season is over, which we hope is not until after Thanksgiving. But first things first, second round game against St. Pius, St. Matthias. I got to find out the reasoning for that crazy long name that they have there. That'll be interesting. But I'm just being transparent with you guys, letting you guys know about the potential changes to the upcoming, to the show indeed, because I want you guys to follow the Get Home Safe podcast, follow whatever future podcasts I come up with. Real quick, St. Pius, excuse me. They're the Warriors. Academy Warriors. Okay, so I don't know where the Spartan logo came from, but oh well. They are 9-2. Their 2 losses this year are to St. Anthony of Long Beach, 43-25, and to St. Genevieve of Panorama City, 35-27. So in those 2 losses, they've given up some points for sure. In their wins, I mean, they've scored at least 40 points and give up right around, either 0 or maybe just a couple of touchdowns. 54-3, 34-7 was their playoff win over Heritage. So if you can score some points on St. Pius here, I think they'll give you guys an opportunity, give you guys a chance on Friday night. But if they get going, if they get rolling, if they put up 35, 49 points, the Cares could be in trouble. So Rio can score. I'm confident in that. But can they slow down the game of St. Pius here? The Warriors football. They throw the ball very well. Offensive line seems to be very good on the protection side of things. They'll run the ball too, but I think their bread and butter is kind of big plays in the passing game. So Rio's going to have to be disciplined, contain that speed, can fight that size, not be intimidated, much like they did on Friday night against Charter Oak. But I think this is a little better passing game we're going to see from St. Pius, and the Cares got to be ready. They need some Rio Hondo magic, man. They need another interception, a fumble, maybe a kick return. They need some kind of things to go their way, as is often the case in football, but specifically with Rio Hondo Prep football, going up against another giant. And these guys are very, very big up front. And Rio has their what is the saying? Whatever, cut out for them. Sorry, it's early and I got to get rolling here, out on the road, back to work. But Friday, I will be here. Well, I've already recorded it, but you guys will see Friday's episode recorded with Coach Armand from Rio Hondo Prep, who is now back in Kazakhstan. But I think this will be a good one to fire you up for the playoff game that is upcoming on Friday night. Again, wear black, get loud, get there early. It's going to be a full house. I don't know if Rio has any plans on bringing in more seating or anything. I would like to see that stadium expand in the future so we can get a lot more people there, but it'll be crowded. It'll be, it should be fun, man. It should be people on the sideline and the stands full. Can't wait for this one, guys. So get there early, wear black, get loud. Another tough game for Rio Hondo Prep in the second round of the Division 7 playoffs. I'll be back Friday with Coach Armand. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. But guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or around in third base, get home safe.